how do you motivate your troops, all your engineers, all those guys that are really focused on the details? How do you get them all to focus on value, especially when it changes from customer to customer, and put the details of the technology second?
Yeah, this is really interesting. I think leading by example is one. Yeah, so I didn't learn this overnight as well. As a CTO, a field CTO of Mirantis, this is what I did on a day-to-day basis, but I had extremely talented people around me that helped me understand value creation and business outcomes and business goals, and we're not technology driven. We're a learning company. Like I explained, one of our main goals for customers is at the end of our projects that they can do it themselves. We are not a company that wants to stay. We want to transfer our knowledge, our competence, make sure that the customer can own the solutions themselves. We do the same thing internally. So we have a learning platform that's called Learned, where we have a 360 feedback loop with our engineers. We set goals for them, courses, training, everything they need to do or want to do within the company. We deliver via a platform to our engineers. So it's all remote. That can be books, right? That can be, like I said, courses. That can be one-on-one conversations. And we let them fail, right? So one of the key drivers or the key things for engineers to do is fail, and learn from that. And then the 360 feedback loop will make them better. Not all of our engineers need to do this. Let's make this absolutely clear. We got engineers, we call them headphone engineers, right? In the company, they have a headphone on and they like to code. And that's kind of the eco of 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. I ate pizza and I wanted to code and I didn't want to talk to customers. So we have 3 levels of engineers in our company. We got a normal cloud native engineer, we got a lead cloud native engineer, and we got a principal cloud native engineer. And they all work on different levels in the organization to create single point of contact to our clients for projects. So our principals communicate to the executives and help with organizational change. And they run pretty much the whole project. And then we got a lead that's managing and communicating to the middle management of the client, and it's helping doing culture change within the organization by leading by example in the engineering teams. And then we got the headphone engineers, and they're just on the ground doing the actual all of them do hands-on work, right? We don't have anybody that can stay away from that. We're all equal. But it's important to create that one point of contact to our clients. So our principals are much more soft skill driven than our normal engineers. And the normal engineers don't need to be. Yeah. So if you want to be in our organization, we will teach you those soft skills, right? So how do you communicate to customers? What's the difference between communicating to an executive or middle management? What does an executive needs to know? How do you translate his business goals to technical outcomes so he can create value out of the solutions that he needs? How do we then map all these different projects together, and how do we create use cases out of them? All those things are kind of divided between our engineers, so our customers don't get confused. Executive got one person to communicate to, middle management got one person to communicate to, and that's how we drive change. So your question was, do they? No, they don't. Not all of them need to be soft skill driven and need to be communicative, right? We are really weird in that sense as a company because on, say, a salary or payment level, internally, everybody's equal. So an engineer who's just working with his headphones on, but is an extremely good guy to code, can earn as much money as a principal engineer that works with executives, right? There is no difference in a company in that because you need those highly technical driven persons and you need people with a lot of soft skills.
Yeah.
And that combination makes it strong.
Yeah, it's a really tiered, tiered for lack of a better word, that among the team, you have all the bases covered. Everybody has a role to play, including you. So you're all supporting each other in different roles. And ultimately, of course, as the leader, you're focused on making sure that the value is delivered. And then all the different, let's say the different members of the team play their positions, and then in you go and deliver the project, basically, or deliver the value ultimately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is what you call, I don't like I said before, I don't like the word digital transformation at all. I think it's a big buzzword because you can't measure it, or, it's really, really a hard thing to do.
Mhm.
But it's about people, process, and technology, right? That's the basis. So you need to change people, and that means mindsets. You need to change process, that means culture, and you need to change the technology side, and of course the organization. And we got different people who will help our customers on those different levels to combine those three.
Yeah.
And that's where you create value. If you combine people with the process and the technology in the right way, you will, at the end of the line, you will create value for that customer.
Yeah. And then there's also the other side of the equation. And, I've experienced this in my career. I'm sure you have, where a customer or an IT department, a company, even a CEO of a customer feels under pressure, like they need to adopt some technology or else they will be left behind. I had this like a couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago, the big thing was blockchain. Everyone was looking for a blockchain project. And if you had a conversation of about 5 minutes or so, you figure out what you need is a database. That's it. But this is I think it's a good problem. I like when somebody is really interested to look into new technologies, but how do you manage that? How do you manage it in the other way, where you need to tell someone, look, what you've been doing is fine, or what you need is the tried and true solution, not the latest thing, and put to rest the fear that they're missing out on something. How do you manage the customers on that?
Again, this comes out of a business goal, right? So they want to achieve something on the business side. But it doesn't mean that your technology needs to change all the time, right? So mainframes, it's pretty much the same thing as the cloud.
Yeah.
If you manage a data center properly, you do proper capacity management, you have a cloud. So there's a lot of things that people think they need to move to, but they are not even ready as a customer. Like I said, we want to transfer our knowledge. I can give you a perfect example of a running client or an actual client right now. In the process of making them cloud native, we need to transfer our knowledge about container technology, about automation, about all that stuff to the client. The client's team is too small actually right now. Then we stop the project because we can't transfer the knowledge, right? And that means that we don't create any value. So actually saying no with an argument, I think helps our clients better than helping them forward into a direction that they don't need. And secondly, they can't manage it. Our company is called Day2. We're not building point solutions. We think about the future, the day after day one. So what we want is that the customer can handle the solution itself and can grow it and create even more value out of it. And at the moment, we deliver that solution to him. If we notice that that client doesn't have the skill sets in-house or has already a platform that could deliver the same functionality, but not using containers, but just using virtual machines, then we will advise them to stick with the environment they got and maybe help them on the automation side, right? How can they create more value out of that current platform, or help them on the business process side and see, are your business processes properly aligned? Can you change something in there? Do you work according to the right methodologies like Agile, or do you have Scrum, or Waterfall is still good if it works, right? So also on the business process side and the technology side, if something works, you don't need to change. Don't let Silicon Valley scare you that if you can't release enough features, you will be eaten up, right? I think everybody's explaining that VMware would have been dead already 12 years ago. It's not the case. So look around you, and get proper advice before you step into a pitfall. Yeah. Because new technology can be a pitfall. And if you can't swim yet, don't do it.